Right, so let's talk now about the EU have turned around. The Home Affairs Commissioner, Ylva Johansson, has said that anger being created by the Israel-Hamas war is making terrorism in Europe more likely. And he's reached down the back of the sofa and found £26 million, which in EU terms is, you know...
Zero.
Pfennigs, and says that that will create some additional security in vulnerable places, especially places of worship.
Yeah, he says the situation is critical. He says there is a huge risk of terrorist attacks all over Europe, and that, of course, includes Britain. And I think you'd agree, Russell, there's a very tense mood, particularly in London, but around the country because of what's happening in Gaza.
I'm not sure that £26 million
that won't make any
is
difference.
going to cut it.
Nothing.
I mean, what that's going to provide is presumably some barriers to stop...
A poster.
Yeah, to stop people getting into certain vulnerable places. It's certainly not going to prevent the extremism that we're seeing at an alarmingly increased rate across Europe. I mean, dare I venture that it might actually be the fault of the EU policy on opening doors to every single country
what I said this morning.
in the world.
Yep.
And of course, you know, we have our own problem in terms of 50,000 undocumented males, you know, generally coming into this country. We've got no idea who they are or where they're coming from. So, you know, and so I would suggest one of the problems that we have and the EU has is their open door policy, their ultra-liberalism when it comes to migration. But I guess also you'd have to say that when you witness the problems that we have on the streets of London over the last few weeks since October the 7th, and the fact that, as I referenced earlier, we do have this two-tier policing approach. If you are, you know, not even necessarily a terrorist, but someone that is intent on causing trouble at a pro-Palestinian march, and you're able to do so every Saturday and to get away with it, well, the message that then sends to that extremist community is that you can indeed do it and get away with it. So I'd also suggest maybe the police, I don't know, I'm old-fashioned, but might want to toughen up on bad behaviour.
But you remember, I was caught up in, I think might have been the first, I think it was the first one in London, and there were estimated to be about 125,000, maybe 150,000 in that march. I can certainly testify it was huge, absolutely massive. On that day, that turbulent day, the police made 9 arrests.
Yeah, and most of those afterwards.
And these were people, going with banners saying "From the river to the sea."
Yeah, and chanting for jihad and so on. And of course, the Metropolitan Police new way of investigating and dealing with crimes, of course, is going onto Twitter the day after those alleged crimes have been committed and to ask the public if they know the people that have committed them. And I remarked, I think it was at the first protest, you know, hang on, you were there, Metropolitan Police. You saw the indiscretions. You saw the crimes being committed. How about, again, dare I venture, maybe arresting some of these
talking about seeing crimes committed, what's happening over the last few days is quite astonishing, which is elements of the mainstream media are now really beginning to pick up on some of the horrific crimes that were committed by Hamas on October the 7th. And, I mean, they're too graphic and awful to be described here. But it's a good thing, I think, that people are at least talking about that.